Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me okay. So welcome to our 2020-2021 Programming Open House for Junior Achievement. My name is Mara Tatey. I'm the Director of Education for Junior Achievement. So just a few classic Zoom notes for everyone. Just make sure that your microphone stays muted throughout so we don't have any background noise when our speakers are talking to give you some information. If you're in speaker view, that would be most helpful so that you can see everything that we're showing you today. We'll be doing a little tour of our JA BizTown later in the presentation, so that would be most helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat feature in Zoom, and we will have people monitoring that to answer your questions throughout. And then we'll also, if we have time at the end, be doing a Q&A, so you can ask your questions at that point as well. And then also, if you have any technical difficulties, you can use the chat feature for that as well. And I'm going to introduce Dr. Cindy Walker to get us started.
Thank you, Maura. Good morning, everyone. I am Cindy Walker, a former dean and current professor in the School of Education at Duquesne University. And I know someone has their speaker on. I'll just wait. I'm very happy to be here. I've been involved with JA for quite a long time. Even before I came to Pittsburgh, I was involved with Junior Achievement in Milwaukee, where I spent most of my career. And actually did a bunch of work with them evaluating Biz Town, which I know, and Finance Park, which I know we're going to talk about later, and was very excited when Biz Town came to Pittsburgh. So let me welcome all of you, all educators from across Western Pennsylvania who are participating virtually today, including superintendents and building principals, teachers, guidance counselors, and other administration in the school district and school building level. We appreciate the partnerships we have with more than 300 schools and 150 school districts in efforts to reach more than 41,000 students.
Yeah, it really was. And Suzanne and I, we talked about it. We tried to figure out, what could she do? And
excuse me,
there really wasn't.
There's somebody who's like talking. You could just please turn your microphone.
So, okay. All right, well, I'll give these people a call as soon as my meeting is done, and I'll let you know about the applicant and let you know when these other interviews are, if we can get any. All right, sure thing. Thank you. Bye.
We appreciate the partnerships with our numerous company, foundation, government, and community partners, some of whom are participating today that help fund our programs. We'd also like to welcome Butler County Commissioner Kevin Buzo, Christine Seitz, Acting Executive Director of the Pennsylvania House Education Committee, as well as staff from the state legislative offices of Senator Lindsey Williams and Representative Ed Gainey. Thanks to our elected officials who helped to spread the word in their school districts about today's open house. I should have also said that I am the chair of the Education Committee for Junior Achievement, so I'm on the executive board. And I'm very happy to be a part of Junior Achievement. I think it's a great program, and it really adds a lot to what our children and students can learn, and adds a lot to the curriculum.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ed Chess. I'm going to walk you through our delivery models here this morning. The pandemic certainly has dealt us a tough hand, but Jay has stepped up to the challenge, and I hope that you'll see some of the benefits to some of the programs we have available. I'm going to start with volunteer-led. This is our traditional delivery method, where the volunteer comes into the classroom, is able to interact with the students, deliver our curriculum. It's more of a hands-on type experience. We certainly hope that sometime in the very near future, we're back to the volunteer is our secret sauce to why our programs are so successful. So we hope that that comes back very soon. And some schools, I guess, are allowing volunteers in. We're being very cautious with that, probably not until January of 2021. The second option is volunteer education led. This is remote live. Think of this as a hybrid of sorts. The educator predominantly will deliver the bulk of the lesson plan. The curriculum will be delivered to the students, with the volunteer popping in for a video live stream to share kind of their own experience with the lessons. Someone's got their mic on. So the pop-in video is a 10 or 15-minute video that again, the volunteer can share. Given the technology capabilities, some students will be able to interact with the volunteer, which is really what we want to strive to attain. We also have volunteer-led that are pre-recorded sessions. Obviously, there's no interaction in this sense, but what it gives the educator the opportunity to do is to share those videos whenever time permits. They can do it as a JA day, which is kind of our traditional method for elementary schools, or they can fit a video in here or a video in there over a couple of weeks to make sure that we get the 5 hours, 6 hours of curriculum delivered. Finally, we have educator-led courses that are one semester teacher-led courses, predominantly in middle school and high school programs. This is, again, teacher-led with the volunteer popping in periodically to share their real-world experience with the students. You can see a list of some of the programs we have available there.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Julia Beckman. I also work at Junior Achievement, and I oversee our programming in Beaver, Butler, Westmoreland, Armstrong, and Lawrence counties this year. So I wanted to kind of give you guys an overview of our Guide on the Side curriculum, which is a virtual format of our JA elementary and middle school curriculum that can be used for virtual or in-person delivery models. So this will go alongside of our traditional programming and allow it to be delivered in a virtual way. This also means that all of our games and activities have been adapted to allow for social distancing in the classroom or individual activities at home, which is great as all schools are doing something a little different this year. So if you're familiar with our blended programs, this Guide on the Side will definitely resemble that delivery model as well. So some of the examples of the programs that will be included in our Guide on the Side are JA Ourselves, JA Our Families, JA Our Communities, JA Our City, JA Our Region, and JA Our Nation. So something really exciting that we also have going on this year is our JA Inspire Virtual Career Fair. So if you've participated in our career fair before, we will not be at the Monroeville Convention Center this year. We will be virtually. It will take place on December 8th and be open to students in grades 7 to 12. It is completely free of charge. So we are excited to welcome many more students than we've really ever been able to welcome before. So students will be able to explore virtual booths and attend 2 different panel discussions. One will be on general career exploration, and the other will be focusing on STEM careers in our region. So there will be 2 required JA Inspire lessons before attending the event. These will be virtually self-guided, and we can get more information to you on that if you're interested. And for any companies who may be out there today, we are still looking for companies to participate either as a sponsor or to have a booth at our event. So we're really excited about this, and hopefully you guys will be able to join us on December 8th.
Okay, it's Ed Chess again. I'm pinch hitting on the Titan competition this morning. Like the virtual career fair, the Titan competition, which is normally a live event, will be done virtually this year as well. JA Titan is a simulation-based program in which high school students compete as CEOs of a phone company. They will experience firsthand how the organization evaluates alternatives, makes decisions, analyzes the outcomes of those decisions, and then strategizes what to do next. The focus is on financial literacy and insight into the workforce. JA Titan brings business economics to life. As students work in teams, the students will work in predominantly 3-person teams. They'll make decisions about production, marketing, R&D, and corporate social responsibility. They will see how their choices make as an organization relates to the future success of the company. Students must complete 5 sessions. There are 11 sessions that are available, but they must complete at least 5. The curriculum is primarily teacher-led, but has multiple options for volunteers and engagement. The real meat and potatoes of Titan is the online simulation. It's an interactive game that students will compete in, and it will apply with the lessons they've learned from the curriculum to make decisions within the game itself. This year, Junior Achievement is hosting our annual JA Titan competition in a virtual format, as I mentioned. Teams of high school students from across Western PA and really from wherever. We will extend into West Virginia. And we will hold several competitions this year. We're going to have our first competition in late January. We'll have another in March, and then one towards the end of the school year. While 5 lessons are encouraged for the curriculum, we do encourage that everyone participates in the curriculum. You don't necessarily need it to be in the competition, but it is highly recommended that the students get that exposure.
This is Mara Tady again, Director of Education. So I'm going to talk to everyone a little bit about JA Finance Perk Virtual. We have had this program in the past, but we're really excited to kind of ramp it up more this year because it is a really exciting virtual program. So obviously that is really needed this year. So it is a capstone program for grades 7 to 12. So your middle school and your high school ranges. It is composed of 13 required teacher-taught in-class lessons. So it is a little more of a lengthy curriculum. If you're familiar with our JA BizTown program, if you have heard me talk about that in the past or heard it on any news publications or anything, we've been kind of out there a lot this year. It is very similar to that in the length of it, in the lessons, but it is geared towards the higher grades. It is our capstone program for our middle and high school grades as compared to BizTown, which is for our elementary grades. And then it ends with a virtual budgeting simulation. We like to compare it to the game of life, teaching students how their budgeting and financial choices really matter, and they can't just willy-nilly choose their budgeting choices. They really matter and choose where they end up. And so this has been completely redesigned. The simulation has been completely redesigned this year and will be launched in the fall. So it'll be launched very soon, similar to JA Titan. Our national office is really working to make everything look really nice and be really compatible for the virtual world that we're now living in. So we're really excited to ramp this program up a lot more this year. And the next really exciting thing that we're planning for this year is a virtual offering for JA BizTown. So again, if you've heard me talk about BizTown at all this past year, we now have a virtual offering for it. So this will be this school year offered as an option to replace the in-person simulation. And then years following this, when we're hopefully getting back to normal, it'll be offered as an enhancement to the in-person curriculum, which will be great that students have an additional way to enhance their curriculum. So this is set up as students complete a self-guided curriculum before coming to or going and completing the virtual simulation. So as opposed to the on-site simulation, if you're familiar with that, where students act as one job for 4.5 hours on site here with us, the students on the virtual simulation get to complete 5 job roles. So they are the CEO, the CFO, the sales manager, the marketing director, and the consumer of one company. And then each job role takes about 20 to 30 minutes to complete. So you can do that in one class period, over the course of a whole school day, whatever you would choose. And then this is broken down into 2 parts, like I mentioned. So it starts with the self-guided curriculum. So for this whole program, students log into a secure junior achievement website called JA Connect. And for the self-guided curriculum, everything is very interactive. So there are interactive presentations that include drag and drop activities, matching activities, volunteer videos that students get to watch and interact with volunteers. There are a bunch of fillable PDFs. So if you use this for grading, that is super helpful, or 339 artifacts, that'll be incredibly helpful as well. And then the students after the self-guided, that's when they complete the virtual simulation, which is very fun. And then this will be available in October to begin that. So before we start with the JA BizTown tour, I just wanted to give everyone a chance to either take a screenshot on your computer or take a picture with your cell phone. This is all of our contact information, and we cover a lot of counties, as you can see on the computer here, and we do a lot of different things. So wherever you're from, wherever you're tuning in right now, just make sure you take a photo of this so you have it. This is everyone that was on the call speaking right now, and then a few other people that were not able to be here. So just take a moment to either write this down or take a photo of it so that you have our contact information, can reach out. And then if you don't really know who to reach out to, feel free to reach out to me. I'm the top one there on the list, and then I can point you in the right direction. And I'm going to introduce Dr. Caroline Johns, who is going to speak about her experiences with junior achievement.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Caroline Johns. I serve as superintendent at the Northgate School District, and I am also on the board of directors for JA. And my first experience with JA was when I was a new elementary principal. So when I went into that first position, I was given very good advice by a wise mentor who said, find out what things are important to your school community and don't mess with them. So I met pretty quickly with our PTA, and they gave me a list of 3 items. The first was not to get rid of Math and Science Olympics, but that I could expand it. They wanted a big culminating trip for 5th grade. And lastly, I better not mess with JA Day. So at the time, I didn't know a whole lot about JA, but I had a group of moms who were going to run it. And they told me all I had to do was make sure that I had lunch for the volunteers. So quite honestly, I didn't think much about the actual day until the day arrived, and I made sure I had lunch for everybody. And as the day got rolling, I got out in the classrooms just because I wanted to see what this was all about, since it was clearly something that was very important. And I just was astounded by the quality of programming, the engagement of our students, the quality of the information that they were being given, the relevance. I was absolutely amazed. And since then, I've obviously left that position, moved on to my position. My current position is superintendent. And when I started in the Northgate School District, one of the things on my list was, do we have JA Day? And we did, and we continue to do this in both of our elementary buildings. And we're very grateful. We have sponsorship through Bank of America and Covestro. Their volunteers come in and spend the day with our students. And it's really a highlight for our elementary students. They look forward to that day every year. So fast forward, it was probably about almost a year and a half ago that I started serving on the JA board of directors. And when I joined, there was all this buzz going around about JA BizTown. So at the time, I didn't really actually get that. I didn't know much about it. And as a board member, I did have the opportunity to see Biz Town under construction. And I thought, well, this looks really cool, but I still really didn't get it until I had some of my students come out. A couple of our elementary students came out to speak to the board of directors about the lessons that they were doing in preparation for their trip to Biz Town. And they came into the building and they never made it past the grocery store. They were absolutely enthralled, and the place wasn't even done at that point. So that's when I really began to understand the buzz around Biz Town. And then we had our day there. It was astounding to me. There were so many skills that we need to teach our students in the area of the career standards, financial literacy, and not only because we're required to do that, but because they're necessary life skills. And BizTown does this in a way that we can't possibly replicate in our schools. So when our 5th grade students went, within that one day, our students practiced all manner of banking skills. They were active citizens of a community. They experienced what it means to hold a job, be a productive employee, serve in a leadership role, and the list goes on. And based on the feedback from our students, it was absolutely a highlight of their school career. So I recognize right now we can't be in person at Biz Town, but I encourage all of you to take advantage of this programming. And certainly when we are able to go back, I encourage all of you to sign up. But we are very fortunate to have this kind of resource right in our backyard. So thinking about this year, it's clearly been a major challenge for all of us. And we all know firsthand what a heavy lift this has been for our teachers and our counselors, whether you're operating completely online or if you're in hybrid. And I think what's so great about the JA programming and the changes, the adaptations that they're making is that you really have high quality programming that you can hand to teachers and counselors, and it can be implemented fairly quickly without significant planning. So I encourage all of you to use this, make your lives a little easier during what's really a hard time for educators, and still be able to deliver high quality programming to your students. So in conclusion, I do want to thank all of you for taking time out of your schedules. We recognize what you're up against right now. So thank you for spending some time with us this morning. I wish you all the best during what we know is going to be a challenging school year. And please do not hesitate to reach out to us and let us know what ways we can support your good work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johns. We appreciate you so much, everything that you've done for us. So thank you for being here and talking about everything that you've done for us. So we really appreciate it. So next we are going to attempt to give everyone a little virtual tour of JA BizTown. This is the first time we've ever done this, so bear with us. But before we do that, I'm just going to give everyone kind of an overall spiel of what JA BizTown is. So JA BizTown is a mock town here in South Fayette Township. We are, if you know where Topgolf is, we're kind of right across the street from that on the hill. So we have 20 businesses here that you'll be able to see here in a minute, but 19 of those businesses are sponsored by companies that are here in Western Pennsylvania. So when your students come here, they will be able to work in one of these businesses and basically be able to feel like they are working in this company for real. So some of these companies are FedEx, 100.7 star. They can be the DJ. They can be a technician at Comcast. They can sell butterfly gummies at Sheetz. So they can really do anything and everything that they want to do. Like I mentioned when I was talking about the virtual option, there are lessons that go into this prior to coming to the simulation. So these cover everything from community and economy, learning how to be a good citizen, financial management, learning how to write a check, which, you know, a lot of us probably don't know how to do that right now, but we're teaching our kids how to do it. Learning how to use a debit card and a credit card, which students actually get a debit card that works in Biz Town. We have debit card swipers that actually work, take money out of their bank account. So there's a lot of detail that goes into this, and students recognize it and they love doing it. So unfortunately, we did open this past January and we only were able to have 4 simulation days, which isn't great, wasn't great timing, but we're really excited to get this back up and running again. Hopefully, you know, if things turn around, maybe in the spring, but, you know, worst case next school year. So that's why we're really hoping that everyone jumps on board with this, potentially even the virtual option. So we are about to start the tour, so we will not be on the chat for this part. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat. And then when we're done, we'll have that Q&A section and we'll go over that with everyone. All right, so right now we're just gonna give you kind of the 360 view of JA BizTown before we go into the actual storefronts. So we have our lovely traffic light, if you can see that. That's how we let the students know when they're going on their breaks. So the first storefront we're going to talk about is Sheets. Have to say this is definitely one of their favorites. So this is where the students eat lunch. You can see all of our tables. So here the students can work as a food and beverage manager and a sales manager. They get to sell cookies, gummy bears. It's really like one of their favorite parts. But they actually wipe the tables, they sweep the floors. If you ever want to get your kids at home cleaning, tell them they're working at a restaurant. That's what we've learned from this. Our next business that we have is 100.7 Star. This is, I'm gonna say that they're all the favorites, so just ignore me when I say that. This is another one of the best ones, I think. Students actually get to be the DJ for the day. So if you probably can't see them, but there are a bunch of speakers on our ceiling. So the music that the students play here in the storefront actually goes through all of the speakers that we have. So they get to choose all the music that we play from a pre-recorded or from a pre-chosen list that we have. And all of the music comes through our speakers. They love it. They feel so great when they're doing it. And then all of the other students can request songs. So that's definitely a great one that they love to do. So now we're moving over here to City Hall. Yes, we do have some government here in JA BizTown. So here, this is where the mayor and the treasurer work. So the mayor goes around and takes votes. So we are definitely promoting voting here in JA BizTown, but they vote for their best citizen of the day and the best business of the day. So at the end of the day in JA BizTown, we do give out some awards for the best business and the best citizens. So they definitely love, if they're the winner of the day, they love that, but they also just like voting and putting in their opinion for the day. Next, we have FedEx. So FedEx actually delivers everything that the businesses need to work for the day. So everything's very real. Businesses are actually selling things. They're actually supplying services for the town. So we have our delivery driver here in FedEx. They'll go around in the morning, pack up all the boxes for all the other businesses and take their little FedEx delivery cart that they have and deliver all the boxes of supplies that all the other businesses need for the day. Our financial institution in BizTown is Clearview Federal Credit Union. So this is a big one. We're teaching students the difference between a bank and a credit union, which I'll be honest, I really didn't know that before I started working with BizTown. So I think it's great that we're teaching them that very young. So students here work as the tellers. They are taking money from the other students to deposit into their bank account. They are giving them cash. So we're teaching them withdrawals, deposits. Really everything goes on in the credit union. They're taking out loans at the beginning of the day, attempting to pay them off. So this is definitely one of the cornerstones for JA BizTown. Now we're moving on over to Calgon Carbon. Again, another one I wasn't super familiar with before we started. But Calgon Carbon uses activated carbon to clean water. Fun fact. So, of course, in here they sell light up bouncy balls. It only makes sense. But definitely one of the best things that the students buy here, I think. So, in addition to being able to buy light up bouncy balls, students also use little mechanical, remote controlled pickup trucks, or whatever those are called, to deliver little fake activated carbon to other businesses to provide a service. So that's how they make money. So every business needs to make money somehow to be able to pay off their business loan by the end of the day. That's their goal as a team. Next, we have Ace Hardware. We love Ace Hardware. We have an owner on one of our boards. So in this business, students actually get to pick a paint sample, and then the workers here will match that paint sample. They'll print out a little label, put it on an empty paint can, and then the students get to go to one of the Ace Hardware stores and get their sample of paint to take home. So that's really fun for them. They get to choose whatever paint sample they want and then take it home. in number one Cochrane, they really wanted to focus on the sales side of their business. So students are actually taught how much money it costs to buy a car and get a car fixed. So I think this is a lesson that's really good to be taught early. So students are given a bunch of different scenarios on how to build a car on number one Cochrane's website, and then also on the repair side of things. So they definitely learn a lot at number one Cochrane about how much a car costs. Coppers is one of my favorites. I don't think will be any educators' favorites on the call, but students get to make slime in Coppers, and they also sell it. So Coppers is a chemical company, so we are focusing on the way different chemicals react using slime. So students throughout the day make baggies of slime, and then they're selling them to the other students. That's how they make money. We always apologize in advance for the slime that your students are going home with, but they definitely love it. And we're moving on over here to vector security. So vector security might have the most technology in JA BizTown. So they actually, on the left side, if you can see it, of their storefront, they have a wall. It's called a demo wall, which has demonstrations of all of their technology that they offer. So students, they have a sales manager in their storefront that is trying to get other students into their business so they can give them a demonstration of all the technology. And then every student that watches a demonstration gets a free pair of sunglasses. So really out there trying to sell vector security to everyone, but they love it. Next we have Mascaro Construction. So Mascaro Construction is very interesting to the fact that they have partnered with a bunch of different trades unions, and every day in JA BizTown, they have a volunteer in their storefront from either Mascaro Construction or one of the trades unions. So your students, if they're working in Mascaro, will be able to actually work with someone in the industry and learn from them. So it is very exciting. And throughout the day, they built a bench for the town. So they definitely love doing that. Alcosan, if your students love STEM and science, this is the one for them. So in here, they test water samples that we made for them. And then they test them and they look at them under a microscope, kind of try to figure out what they are. It's a little mystery. So they get to use real microscopes, real pH balance samplers. So everything in here is very real. Everything in BizTown is very real, but Alcosan definitely a lot of science heavy things in here. ANSYS, this is another big favorite. So in here, students design a bridge on an app called Tinkercad, and then they physically build that bridge using a bunch of different arts and crafts materials, and they, excuse me, and then they try to see how many little cars their bridge can hold. Giant Eagle, as you remember, Dr. Johns was talking about how her students couldn't even walk past the grocery store. This is what she was talking about. So in Giant Eagle, students can act as the store manager. So they have to look at the expiration dates on all the food and try to see what needs thrown out. They get to sell wristbands. So they're really acting as someone who works in the grocery store. We also have a pharmacist that builds first aid kits for the town and also makes healthy living posters and posts them throughout the town. In Burns and Scalo, this is actually our real estate agency. So they act as the property manager. So they go around, and if someone requests them to sharpen their pencils or take out their garbage, they can actually do that on our software that we have. So their property manager can go around to the storefronts and do that for them. And then they're also in charge of collecting rent from all of the storefronts. In Gordon Food Services, they have a wide range of positions in here. So we have students that are fixing tires on their truck. We have students that are delivering water to other businesses. We have students that are writing recipes for them. So they are really doing it all in Gordon Food Service. In PPG Paints, they are doing a science experiment where they melt down Skittles to get the colors off of them. And then they are matching that color on the Skittles to a PPG Paints color using their color matcher. And then they are also selling these really cool pens that look like paintbrushes. So that's one of my favorite things that they're selling. And then we have Comcast over here in the corner. And these students are installing Wi-Fi routers, not actually installing them, but they're definitely doing the work. So they're delivering Wi-Fi routers to all of the businesses and then talking to them about cybersecurity. They have a little script that they read, talking to them about cybersecurity, and that's how they make their money.
What grade is this?
Next, we have UPMC Children's Hospital. So we have a nurse practitioner in here and a medical assistant. So they work together to give students exams. So they just do an eye exam and height and an eye test. So nothing too crazy, but the students definitely love it to come in and look at the eye exam and see their height and everything. It's really fun for them. Definitely a more fun way to go to the doctors. And next, we are going to Highmark. Yes, we did put UPMC and Highmark right next to each other. So next we're at Highmark. So this is where students buy their health insurance. So we don't require them to buy their health insurance, but we do talk to them about the pros and cons of health insurance. And if they go to UPMC with health insurance, they get a discount. But if they don't have health insurance, it is more expensive. So that's a way that we teach them about health insurance. So that's kind of the gist on JA BizTown. So at this point, we are going to look at the chat. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat now. So I have a question. So BizTown is not currently open on site due to COVID, correct? So we are technically open, but we are obviously leaving that up to schools and what they would like to do. We are taking our own precautions. So we have a company called Germinator coming in the beginning of October. They are one of those companies that completely sprays everything down and it's completely clean. If you would like more information on them, I can send that over to you. And then we're taking obviously additional precautions. We have a plan written up that we can send to you if you are interested in that. But we are technically open, just obviously leaving that up to the school's discretion. BizTown is reopened to visit. What grades? How many hours are students there? So BizTown is for grades 4 to 6, and students are here on site for 4.5 hours. How and what will virtual BizTown students engage with? So for virtual BizTown, they have the student self-guided curriculum, and then they have the virtual simulation experience. So the virtual self-guided curriculum, they have volunteer videos. So they're not technically engaging with any other students or any people technically, but they have virtual volunteer videos. They have interactive games on the self-guided curriculum. And then the virtual simulation experience is very similar in the fact that they are, I don't want to say they're chatting with this little character that's guiding them through the experience, but it's very interactive in that they have this little character that guides them through the experience and leads them through it. And there's a lot of activities and games and things like that that will be very engaging. Is it possible to preview the virtual BizTown? So we don't have access to it technically until the beginning of October. Our national office is the one that's working on it. As soon as we have access to it, we will attempt to put something together that is potentially a video or a call for everyone that will be able to give you a preview to it. We do have a document and some images that we can send out that will give you a little bit more of an understanding about it. But right now we don't have full access to it. Where's Biz Town located? We are located in South Fayette Township in Abilene Business Park. So it's right across from Topgolf, if you know where that is. That's kind of like the main thing that's located around us. How do we arrange a visit? So you can contact me. My name is Mara Tatey. I'm the Director of Education. We can show that contact screen again before we log off if you would like, so you can take a photo of that. We have a video available for students to see prior to visiting Biz Town. That's a good question. So we do have some things for students to see and do before coming to Biz Town and some images. We don't yet have a video for them to see prior to coming to the site, but that's a good idea. Cost, great question. So on-site, if you're coming to the on-site doing the, the normal Biz Town experience, normal life, it is $25 per student. And then if you're doing the virtual experience, it is $15 per student. Where do we find the programs for grades 7 to 12? So you can find all of our programs on our website, jawesternpa.org. And then you can also, like I mentioned, reach out to any of our program managers and we can assist you with anything that you might need. We can help you make some recommendations for any of your needs and walk you through anything. How are student artifacts collected? If students participate in junior achievement, is that part of the program or something schools have to develop on your own? So all junior achievement programs come with many artifacts that you can use. So everything that we have, all of our programs have things that students can write on. So I know that's really important for schools. So we have a ton of worksheets that can be collected. Right now, I want to say is actually a better time to be collecting artifacts because everything's virtual. I know that sometimes makes it easier as opposed to collecting a bunch of physical worksheets. It kind of gets a little confusing. So now that everything's virtual, it might actually make it a little bit easier with those fillable PDFs and everything. So we definitely have a bunch of consumable materials that students write on. They do worksheets. So we do have a ton of that. We also on our website, jawesternpa.org, have a section that is CEW artifacts. So you can look at that as well. Yes, Amy mentioned about the news clip for JA BizTown that we have from our opening. That is a good point. That is really helpful. And then Julia posted in the chat as well the link for our website that has a lot of our important information. How do companies apply to display and participate? If you're referencing the career fair or any of our other JA programs, definitely feel free to reach out to us, any of the program managers. If it's for career fair, you'll reach out to Julia Beckman or myself, and we can get that set up for you. If it's to volunteer, you can reach out to any of the program managers that are in the counties you would like to volunteer in. We're always looking for volunteers. Right now it's virtual mostly, and if it's Biz Town, then you would reach out to me, Mara Tatey. At any point, we can talk about anything.
Did you say that in-person Biz Town visits will be available this year?
Yes, so they will be available. We are open. We didn't want to fully close because we know we can be safe if schools would like to come. So we will be open. We are working on some family days right now because I know the fall is not a great time for schools to wanting to come to Biz Town. But yes, we are open.
So we would be able to bring our entire 5th grade on a day, say maybe in May?
Absolutely, yeah. How will family days be promoted? Will you let us know about them? Yes, absolutely. So we're working on piloting one right now. And then we will definitely be promoting that, reach out to everyone. We will probably kind of do a similar promotion like we did for this event. And then hopefully we'll post it on our website as well. Social media, we'll get it out there for sure. And then I saw another question asking if BizTown was open for summer programs. So we were actually planning on doing a summer camp this summer. Unfortunately, that couldn't happen. So hopefully next summer, all things considered, we will be able to do that. But that kind of is as opposed to during the school year when schools sign up their entire class or school or grade. In the summer, parents or guardians usually sign up their students for those summer camps. So it is a little bit different, but we are open, yes. And then we will also, just so everyone knows, we are recording this meeting. So we will be sending this out to everyone that RSVP'd, as well as through our constant contact if you receive that email, and then also hopefully be posting it on our website. So it'll be pretty much everywhere for everyone to view. So if you had to miss the beginning or something, or if you had someone else that wanted to watch it, feel free to send it around to anyone. If they come for the day in person, is there an evidence piece / artifact that they come away with? So the evidence and artifacts, if they come in person, would be during the 12 lessons that they do prior to the on-site simulation. So all students get a workbook that they work from. So all of their artifacts are actually nice and together in this workbook that they have. So those are all together in the 12 lessons that they do prior to the on-site simulation. How many students can attend in person in one day? So our general number is 80 to 125. We're going to make that a little bit less for this school year if you're planning to attend this school year due to social distancing. So we're hoping to keep it under 100. We do have a really large space and all students will be required to wear masks, but due to wanting to keep it as social distance as possible, we're not going to go to our max this school year. And you can do as many days as you would like. That we don't increase any charges or anything like that. If you choose to go more than one day, you can separate out your grades. I know it gets a little bit more challenging with transportation, but you can go more than one day. The costs are for the on-site simulation is $25 per student, and then for the full virtual Biz Town is $15 per student. And then for any in-school programming, anything other than JA BizTown that we discussed, there's no cost associated. We just request a possible donation from the district. They are doing it virtually. Do they still do the 12 lessons prior? So if they're doing it virtually, the lessons are a little bit different. So it's student self-guided via modules. So it's not full 12 lessons. All the content is very similar, but it is a little bit different. I wouldn't say it's fully 12 lessons. It's a little bit shorter and it's student self-guided. What are the hours again? So they would be on site for 4.5 hours, and you as a district can choose those hours. We usually recommend starting at either 9, 9:30 or 10 o'clock, but we're flexible. It's completely up to you. Can more than one district be there at the same time? Yes. In a normal situation, yes, definitely. This year, we're not allowing that just due to everyone's comfortability, unless both of the districts are completely fine with that. I'm just assuming a lot of districts won't want to do that this year. But yes, more than one district can be here at the same time. Is lunch provided or do they pack? Students will brown bag their lunches for JA BizTown, but they can buy snacks at Sheetz, snacks and water, with their JA BizTown money. They don't have to bring any actual money. And I'm going to show that contact information slide one more time so you can reach out to us with any more questions. So again, please feel free to reach out to us with anything that you need. Again, my name is Mara Tady. I'm the Director of Education. I cover Allegheny County for all programming, and then JA BizTown, that doesn't matter what county you're in, that would still be me. So feel free to reach out to us, whatever county you're in, and we will be sure to answer any questions that you have. Again, thank you all so much for taking the time to be here with us today. We really appreciate it. And anything you need, whether it's JA related or not, we'll work with you to help you out. I know this year's really crazy, so we just want to be here to help everyone. And a big shout out to Dr. Cindy Walker and Dr. Caroline Johns for helping us with this today as well. So again, thank you everyone, and we hope to talk to you all soon. Have a good day, everyone.